why the package is so big. It's produced by a company called Cam. This is the stabilizer itself. Now, like I said, it comes with the whole vest, but you don't necessarily need to use the vest with it. Just the vest helps you if you need to carry more weight. But if you want to, for example, just quickly put on just the camera by itself, and you can handle the weight for like a quick shot, and you can use it just like this. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about these stabilizers is that there's a few small but very key things that really make it stand apart from other camera stabilizers out there. First is the fact that it's produced out of carbon fiber. Or as many of the parts as possible are produced out of carbon fiber, which really reduces the weight. Which means that if you're using it, and by hand holding it, it's just easier on your wrist, on your arm. So that's one cool thing. But also, the whole system, I find that has a whole, like, all these little things that at the end of the day make a difference, because it just makes your workflow really easier and just faster. So first thing I really like about it, this one in particular one, is that if all the positions basically of the camera, whether it's forward, backwards, left and right, and also the length of the stabilizing shaft up here, comes with markings, very detailed markings actually. What that's good for is that if you already like for example adjusted the Steadicam for a certain camera with a lens, then you can literally just write down those settings, and next time you're on location, you can just very easily reproduce it. So, and here I'm gonna, for this camera, I remember it was 6.5 that I extended it to, and here I move it to -1. And already, as you can see, my camera is pretty much balanced on the Steadicam. So you can do the drop test. It's about 2 seconds, almost 2 seconds. So it's a very well balanced, as you can see. Camera doesn't kind of rock from left to right as you move it. And it's all thanks to basically, because once I adjusted the Steadicam for this camera with this lens, literally all I have to do is just remember the settings up here, and then next time I take out the Steadicam, all I do is just put in the same settings. So it really saves you time on location and stuff like that.
Okay, so before I get into any more details about the stabilizer, I just want to show you what kind of results you can get with it. So first few shots up here I'm getting with the stabilizer and the vest, and also I'm using 10mm, it's a very wide angle lens. So here's the kind of shot you can get. Now this was just very, very unrehearsed, just me literally walking down the street, and as you can see it was very cold, and because of that there was a lot of ice kind of patches on the sidewalk, so it was not the safest or easiest conditions for doing Steadicam shots. But as you can see, the shots are pretty pretty good, especially when you consider, like I said, that these are non-rehearsed. So I just had my subject here just told her basically to walk down the street, and I would just follow her and just sort of improvise. When there was a lamp or something in the way, I just had to kind of go around and try to keep her in the center of the frame, and keep the shots as smooth as possible. Even when, as you can see, I'm stumbling up here, and walking all over the snow. Here's a shot of me sort of running through the snow and then going around. There's the point of view of the camera. And as you can see, it's pretty smooth. Now here's walking backwards. It also works. Now here I'm getting again the same kind of shots as before, but I'm using a 20mm lens. So as you'll notice now, because the lens is not as wide, you see a little bit like basically the camera maybe swaying, or any kind of mistakes that I did with the Steadicam are twice as obvious as before on the 10mm lens. And that's sort of one thing that I always sort of try to explain to people, that when you're using a Steadicams are great, but only for lenses, I would say like 50mm, or below. I think ideal is around between 20 and 30mm lenses. Or you can get the really wide angle lenses like I used before, which was a 10mm. Now all these shots up here, you know, again, I'm using the vest and the force spring arm, which is not really necessary for this kind of a setup that I have. The vest is great when you have a bigger camera or when you have, you know, other heavy things attached to your Steadicam. But here I'm just literally using the Canon 7D camera with a 10mm lens. So here I'm attempting to do like a sort of a running shot and then suddenly stopping and see basically if the Steadicam will stay nice and stable. So you know that's a really hard test that a lot of Steadicams don't pass, because a lot of Steadicams basically when you're running and suddenly you stop, they end up kind of wobbling. Here's a few shots that I did indoors. These are actually rehearsed, and this one's me just sort of walking backwards, and this is again on the 10mm lens. And as you can see, it's it's pretty smooth. I was able to, like I said, walk backwards and then sort of go to my actress's side, reframe, you know, hold the camera steady, and then go back into another move. Here's another take of me basically following her while she's doing the same action. So first she picks up some magazines, mail, and then I start following her. Again, it's on the 10mm lens, and then again I change positions to a side angle, hold the camera steady. As you can see, it's nice and smooth, it doesn't wobble. Here I'm going to do a similar shot but using a 50mm lens. So I start off on the male, then I move the Steadicam up to her face, and then I follow. And 50mm lens is really sort of the tightest you probably want to get, because anything beyond that is, you know, doesn't matter how good of a Steadicam you have, it's really going to wobble. But up here, as you can see, even on a 50mm lens, the Steadicam performed very well. And here's just, you know, a few more sort of running shots that I wanted to test out the Steadicam at. So sort of running down the house here into the kitchen, and then trying to stop at the window.
Another really cool feature that this stabilizer has is that it's aside from it being just a stabilizer, it's actually also a monopod. And what I mean by that is that you can extend here the shaft. There's 3 locking rings, which goes to about this height here. And literally you can use it, like I said, like as a monopod. You can put it on the ground, and you know, if like I said, it's better even than a shoulder rig. You know, if you don't have to move around with the camera. Even if it's a big, you know, heavy camera rig, you shouldn't have too many problems getting, you know, nice smooth shots, or at least, you know, getting a nice static still shot. So this is the X series stabilizer. It is rated for up to 7.5 kilograms, which is around 16.5 pounds, and retails for $298. So what I really like about the system is the fact that it's all these tiny little differences that just make your life a lot easier. It's, for one, it comes complete. And when I say that, you know, versus, for example, like the Flycam or the Glidecam, which you know, don't get me wrong, I really also like those stabilizer systems. But the thing is that when you get, for example, the Flycam or Glidecam, you will have to get, you know, extra little tools for adjusting things. You might have to get, you know, extra little weights that you put in there to really fine-tune the camera. Whereas with this, I find that it allows you so much control, and it comes, like I said, with the case, comes with the little tools for any little things that you might need to adjust or take apart, to, you know, to let's say oil up or clean up your Steadicam. That literally it is self-sufficient. Like you will not need to get anything else. It even comes, like I said, with a quick release plate, which is you know, it's a really good quick release plate. And what I mean by that is that, you know, aside from the markings, it's very minimal in its design, meaning it reduces the weight, the extra weight that you have to carry, while at the same time allowing you really fine control. So for example, if you put the camera under, if for example, you know, you lock it and, like I said, it's not balanced properly, like right now it's too forward heavy, what you can do is you just loosen up here a little bit, and using this little knob you can move the camera back and forth and make very tiny little adjustments, and then just quickly lock it. And then this way you can see if you're getting anywhere closer to your settings for the camera. So here I'm gonna move the camera back a little bit to balance it, and yeah, a little bit more. And you see, with this way, it really allows you to quickly change the position of the camera on the slider. and about there, maybe go a little bit forward. There, perfect. And like I said, and you know, it's not a hassle to lock it or unlock it. You don't need tools. You don't need any of those sort of things. Another really cool thing about this quick release plate is that, let's say you were adjusting the position of your camera and you forgot to lock it, and you do this. As you can see, the camera will, the plate will slide forward, but will not fall off. It has this sort of a quick, sort of a safety release mechanism. Another cool thing it has when it comes to the gimbal itself here, you can unlock this and you can actually change the position of it. So you can move it up or down on the shaft, which what that really allows you to do is to really fine-tune the weight between your camera and the weights up here. You can fine-tune the weight, you know, of this side of the stabilizer by either extending the shafts here, like I showed you, or by moving the center position of the gimbal, so you can move it up or down on the shaft. And by making tiny little adjustments, which are again very quick and easy, because all you do is just tighten this one thing and you can move it up or down. If you don't like it, you know, again, you move it, let's say, down, lock it, and right there, and you can easily change the position and quickly, and this way you can really fine-tune the, like I said, the balance of the weight of the bottom of the Steadicam versus the top where the camera is. So yeah, overall it's just a really, you know, well thought out, you know, design for a stabilizer. The other stabilizer that I'm going to show you is the carbon fiber Steadicam. It also comes in this you know, sort of a self-contained case, carrying bag. And then once again, it comes with all the tools and everything, and like I said, it is carbon fiber, so you know, again, very lightweight, and it's, in a way, it's very similar to this to the first stabilizer that I reviewed. It also has a, you know, a nice base plate that, you know, moves basically back and forth, allows you, you know, the fine controls. The only thing, and I don't know whether it's because of, you know, the one that I got, or you know, whether basically this model doesn't have the markings, which I find, you know, in the other Steadicam systems, having those markings, it just makes your life easier, you know, once you've, like I said, already found the perfect balance point, and then you take off the camera, and then next time you want to put it on quickly on the location. So that's one thing that's missing on this one. But other than that, it has all the same kind of, you know, tools that allows you, again, to extend the shaft. Now this one is not a monopod also. The other one is, like I said, it's a monopod. So you can extend it and use it as a monopod. This is as far as it extends. But combined, you know, with this length, you know, this length of the shaft, and then also because you can, just like in the other one, you can move the center position of your gimbal. You can again really fine-tune the weight of the camera. Now this one is rated up to 10 kilograms, which is 22 pounds. Which you know, again, it's way more than you need for any, you know, DSLR system, even if you put rails on there and, you know, let's say a remote controlled follow focus, things like that, or matte box. And I mean, really though, in reality, simply because it's so well built, I think if you put extra weights on there, you could probably use it for, you know, for even bigger camera systems.
So here I'm going to do similar tests as with the other stabilizer outside, and you know, you can use this stabilizer with the vest and the arm, but also just to show you, you know, that you can get really good results if you have a light setup like here, where it's just a camera and a lens. You can do the same things without even using the vest. So here I'm you know, going around her and then switching to sort of a side angle profile shot as she's walking. Again, these shots are not rehearsed, so I just kind of tell her to walk or stop, and, you know, while I'm sort of trying to reframe on the go. And you know, just as, you know, the other stabilizer, the shots are nice and smooth, especially considering that I was sliding sometimes on the sidewalk, because there were sort of patches of ice and snow. Here's walking the other way. We happen to have a nice, beautiful sunset there in the sky. Here's me running through the snow again and trying to stop suddenly. So this is on the 10mm lens, and now I'm going to try the same thing but on a 20mm lens. And as you can see, you can also stop suddenly and then get a pretty smooth shot. Again, walking shots, but this is again on a 20mm lens now, so a bit closer on her, and which makes it harder for the Steadicam operator to keep smooth. But as you can see, the stabilizer performs very well. And here's a few more running shots outside. This one's on a 10mm lens, and running up the hill a little bit here, and then going around her. Sometimes I would slip a little bit, as you saw there. I would cause the stabilizer to wobble. But even here at the end, I was able to stop suddenly and then frame a nice shot with the sunset.
So really, I mean, the main difference, I guess, between this one and the first Steadicam is that this one's not it's not designed to be also a monopod. You have more, I guess, adjustment when it comes to the weight itself. Although I'm not sure whether that's really necessary. One thing I wish this one had, like I said, is the markings like the first one. It doesn't have it, but at the same time, it's just because of the gimbal and I guess everything is slightly a bit heavier, kind of stronger material. It can handle more weight. Although I'm pretty sure this one can handle up to 10 kilograms too. But like I said, the other one's rated for 7.5 kilograms or 16.5 pounds. This one is rated for up to 10 kilograms or 22 pounds. Now the retail for this one is $318, so $20 more than the other one. So not a big difference. So really, it just comes down to what kind of what works better for you. And now the next thing that that comes with it, or you can buy basically these systems with it, is the vest itself. Now the vest will work with any of these stabilizers, or it will actually even work with your glide cam or your fly cam. So the vest itself, it comes with, again also in this nice carry case with all the tools and everything that you need to use it. And it's pretty much like what you would expect to see when it comes to a standard Steadicam vest. It can handle up to 10 kilograms easily. It can actually handle even more if you have a stronger stabilizer itself. It comes with the full padding all around, and also it's adjustable on all the points here. You can also adjust here the length of it, and as you can see, it's very quick, in the way that when it comes to adjusting the size of it and tightening all the parts. It's a 4-spring, a 2-stage articulated arm system, so it can carry a lot of weight, and you can also easily adjust the tension of the springs up here with the tool that's provided. So you can easily change it for depending on how heavy your system is. And you just slide it in here, and then you tighten these 2 screws here. Once you have the arm in place, you can just grab, like let's say we'll grab this one. Grab your Steadicam and your stabilizer, and you just slide it onto here. We'll put our camera back on. And as you can see right now, I'm holding the whole stabilizer literally with my 2 fingers, just barely. I'm not even really holding it. As you can see, I can let go of it. It works the same way as before. And really, when you have a vest, really the only difference in operating a Steadicam is, you're still going to put your hand up here and then your other hand here just below the gimbal to sort of to guide it where you want to point the camera. The only really difference is that now you no longer have to hold this handle really hard with your arm. You can literally just hold it with your finger, and this is really just so that you can sort of tell the arm itself that if you want the camera to go higher or if you want it to go lower, for example, because just by applying a little bit of pressure, the springs will basically give way in either direction. And other than that, for example, like I said, if I jump around, as you can see, most of the motion of me, moving up and down, it does not get translated here into the actual stabilizer. Now I know you can buy both any of these basically stabilizers together with the vest. They retail for around $770, or you can buy just the vest itself if you want to buy it later on for $580. So if you were to ask me which one I think is better, the one that can handle 16.5 pounds or this one rated for 22 pounds, I think they're both pretty much identical, and for sure in the way that they operate, and just how smooth they are when you're actually getting the Steadicam shots. Really, the difference is this one, like I said, you can customize the weights a little bit more, and it can handle more weight in general. Whereas this one, just as good. Maybe it doesn't handle as much weight, but in turn converts into a monopod, which is a great thing to have. So really, the decision is up to you. Now, when it comes to the vest, like I said, it's going to work with any of these, plus many other Steadicam systems out there, like even the GlideCam and the FlyCam, and it's for sure a must-have if you're ever really serious about getting a lot of Steadicam shots, and like I said, if you want to add microphones and other things on there, which just adds more weight. And like I said, it's what I really like about this this whole system from Cam is the fact that it comes self-contained, like complete. So it has all the tools, including even, like I said, these bags. So the vest will come in a nice big bag, which will also fit any of your Steadicams, or the bags that come for the other two Steadicams. They're really nice, sturdy, have extra pockets, stuff like that. It's really all you need for a nice camera stabilizer.